AJ Hawk joins us here. Final segment of the week on Morning Juice. AJ, have you ever had an encounter with the shark? And do you think that shark attacks happen more frequently now than they used to?
Oh, that's a good question. I have not had any encounters with a shark. I do look forward to one day having one. But, no, I would assume they are not. I'm sure now we just report on them a lot more with the internet and phones and everything.
Yes.
We get to report now. We just hear about it, I guess. But I still think chances are very, very low that you're going to have an encounter with a shark.
Bobby hurt his neck nodding so hard when you said that because that's the same thing he said to me when I thought there were more.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bobby is a swimmer. We all know that. So if Bob was surrounded by sharks, I still feel like I would bet on Bob to come out of there and be okay.
How about Schlags?
Schlags is dead. Schlags is like chum. You throw off the back of the boat. Like Schlags has no chance.
How surprising was it when you first realized that Schlags couldn't swim?
Oh, I mean, it is a funny thing because I guess I grew up like going to the pool a lot and rode my bike to the pool in the summer. I was on swim team all growing up when I was a young kid. I didn't swim like you did, Bob, but I did swim team for 4 or 5 years as a youngster. And so I just assumed everybody, like any human above the age of like 18 months old could swim. Like I thought you could at least keep yourself up. Like I didn't think you have to be you don't have to be a competitive swimmer, but I thought, yeah, you could keep yourself alive if you fell in over 2.5 feet of water. And then seeing Schlags as a grown human doggy paddle and not be able to even, go like 6 feet in the water, it blew my mind. I'm not going to lie.
So if Schlags is chasing me, all I have to do is go into deep water?
Yes.
And I'll be safe?
No. Any water, I think you're good. You can go in like 1.5 feet, and I think you got him. You got the edge on.
Oh, that's good to know.
So it was amazing. We were on these like the inflatable like climbing walls and trampoline out in the bay in Florida. And AJ goes swim to the next one, and we turn around and like, where's Schlegel? And he's like, hold on, guys, like trying to get over there. Like, it looked like he was drowning, like he was an active drowning victim.
Oh, gosh.
I could not believe it. Like, he looked like if you threw a pit bull in the water.
Right.
That's how it would be with Schlags.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I had no idea. That's
short
scary.
little arms, like not being able to
He still hasn't
paddle.
learned to this. Wait, and you tell me, Thin-Off, you don't know how to do this, you don't want to do that. Why don't you learn how to do it? And you've got Schlags out there who doesn't know how to swim, and he's his age?
Yeah.
Well, they probably have to do the newborn thing, like you've seen the videos.
Right, just throw them in.
Throw the babies.
Yes.
Yeah, the baby's like 3.5 days old, and they just throw that thing in there and say, all right, buddy, hopefully you survive, and then you'll be a good swimmer. Like, you got to do that with Schlags, probably.
I would never have the stones to do that as a parent. Because
I mean, I want to at least be in there spotting my kid, so if he doesn't turn right side up, I can at least flip him and keep him alive for a couple more days.
So, yeah, I mean, that's key, survival, moving forward, promotion of the species. I like that. Shark's wife is going to be out of town for the next 4 days. He's going to be here by himself. And
man.
We're trying to, exactly, oh, man. Like, if you were at home by yourself, you have any recommendations for Shark on what he could get into? And then, I mean, I'm sure there's times where Beeb's taking the kids and they go like gallivanting around Europe or these other vacations. They leave you here to literally hold down the nest. What do you do, and then what would you recommend for Shark?
Man, that's a good question. There's so many options, I guess. But it is a weird situation if you are left like alone with no kids, no one in the house, because it's like eerily quiet that you're not used to. You're not used to having the silence and the quietness. But I mean, I guess it depends on what you love to do. I mean, especially if it's this weekend, it's gonna be really hot. Hey, why not go old school? Why don't you go get a slip and slide and invite some of your buds over?
Yeah.
And you can go run around on a slip and slide out in the yard for a while, and there's no one there to judge you.
Cincy Buck has a suggestion in the chat. I don't know if you saw it or not, Shark, on what you should do all weekend. I'm not going to say it on the air.
Oh, come on. We'll just let them know. AJ, Columbus Gold all weekend.
That's what the suggestion
Oh, yeah.
Cincy
You go back and forth. Between the two and just, really maybe write reviews. Maybe say it's for work and you're writing reviews for all those places.
Yes, I'll give you some work assignment to come back in next week and we'll call it the Columbus Cabaret Review by Mark.
You got some cinnamon on you.
Shark.
AJ.
Hold on. I want to ask AJ this. Do you remember that name that we hosted? Or I think you were technically the host we took to Columbus Gold. He had the sweatpants on.
I don't remember his name. I can see his face now, but I haven't thought of it in a while.
You guys took a recruit there?
I mean, I think he has to go.
Yeah, he heard this is the hot spot. He said, we said, all right, yep, the obligatory stop by. Yep, we'll go for sure.
I hate doing this kind of
stuff.
Did
he throw up in there?
Either in there. Yeah, actually, I think you're right. I think we had to smooth things over with some of the workers because I think he did puke in there. You're right.
Did he come to Ohio State?
He did not.
He did.
No.
He went to Notre Dame, didn't he?
I don't. I do remember he went somewhere else, but I didn't know where.
I am losing all kinds of respect for what you guys did under St. Tressel. Okay.
Well, I mean, that was a tradition that was brought on well before we got there. Like, that was something that just you got to hit up the local hot spots. So even if we didn't want to get, it was probably a weeknight too. We're like, all right, man, I don't know what it's going to be like, but yeah. And then next thing you know, he's puking in his hands and dumping into the seat.
I don't know what would. Well, never mind. I don't want to do this. I gotta believe the talent on Wednesday is a lot different than the talent on the weekend. Was it a matinee? Was an afternoon buffet going on there also?
It was a night.
No, but when you're, I think when you're like a 17, 18-year-old kid coming from high school, I think your standards are pretty low. So I think those kids are okay with whatever they got going.
I can't believe you guys did that, Bobby.
Well, I mean, what else do people ask? Like, we're not going to tell them no.
I understand. I can't believe that on a recruiting trip, you guys encourage that.
Well, it's kind of passed down between all the generations, and all the classes. That's just kind of where everyone at least congregates towards the end because it's the only place that's really open late.
Oh, yeah. And I remember if it was him age, he'd been on a couple visits. And so what they would do is they would give you, I think, what do you get, like $60 or like $30 a night or something? Yeah. And he was like, hey, just give me my money. You're supposed to take it. And he's like, just give it to me. Oh. And we took him there, and it was, all right, there you go, bud. Like, go at it.
Did they give it to you in singles, or did you have to convert it later?
I think we had to convert it.
You had to convert
especially him. The fact that he wanted it up front, too, is tough, because usually you could, you could go have fun and use it, but he came in, he knew this guy was a big recruit. He'd been at visits other places. He knew how it worked.
Okay, Laurinaitis calls you guys. Hey, I got this recruit in town. I want you guys to meet with him now. Try to convince him to come to Ohio State. Tell him about he's a linebacker, a 5-star linebacker from Florida. He's up here. Would you guys then take him also today or this weekend with Shark to Columbus Gold?
I think it's a little different as a 41-year-old trying to take a 19 or 18-year-old kid in there.
That's a little creepier.
That'd be creepy on my part, or I could be the kid's dad. But I don't know. I don't know how it works anymore when it comes to recruiting visits. I know there's rules now too on different things they can and can't do.
Yeah, and that's
Shark's got something.
Oh, go ahead, Shark.
We heard for the first time this week a story about Bobby in 2005 actually considering transferring out of Ohio State.
Were you aware of that, AJ?
Did you know about that at the time? Did you talk him off the ledge?
I don't think we had to talk him off the ledge or anything. Bob, that's what makes Bob great. Like, Bob can be, or not, like, I should say you trust your instincts. Bob is all over the place. Like, at times can be a roller coaster, and that's how we all kind of are. But Bob was just more open about it. So we'd have to talk him off the ledge. We knew he wasn't going anywhere, but we know, like, there's times when, I got to get out of here. I need to go somewhere else, things like that. But yeah, I never thought he was actually going to go anywhere.
Especially if you took him Columbus Gold after he told you to think about it. He said, Bob, let's go on a trip here.
I told those guys with the transfer portal, I'm like, dude, after one of the times Fick kicked me out of practice, like, I just would have walked in and slammed the transfer portal button, like, out of here right now, like, find me a spot or anything. It would have been the worst thing in the world for me when you're impulsive as like a 21-year-old.
6 schools in 4 years.
Being impulsive as a 21-year-old, I agree. Like, that would have been tough. Like, it'd be before one of the big practices you have where stuff's going to get bad, or right after a practice, like you said, that you get kicked out from your linebacker coach. I could definitely see some poor decisions being made, and if you didn't give it just give you a 45-minute, maybe a 2-hour cool-down period afterwards.
Gosh, let me ask you this, because you fill in for Pat, when he's out, and you'll go over to Indy and run the show. Yesterday was Schlags' first time running the show without me there. I popped on with you guys for a little bit. How did he do kind of handling everything? Because when you're driving, it's a little bit different than just riding alongside in the car.
Oh, it's a huge difference. Yeah. The best was watching Schlags the text leading up to it. I'd text him, Bob, I say, hey, do you got a link Schlags to the, whatever you used to connect? He said, yeah, fool, here we go. And the pump up speech that he gives me in the text when he sends it was great. And then watching him live on air talk to, the producer and the guys behind the scenes about things coming up and reads and what he's got to do was just amazing. Like, it was everything's out in the open. He's talking to everybody. Things are popping up and will distract him, during the show. Everything about it was great. And then you call in from the golf course and add another element. It was great. He even texted me afterwards, sorry for the chaos, bro. I don't usually run the show or whatever. I said, you killed it, man. You dominated. Don't worry about it.
Did you ever come close to transferring?
No, I don't think so. I never really did. I mean, my brother transferred from Miami of Ohio to OU when I was in college. I was in college still. I do remember being a part of that and like watching him go through that and talking to him throughout the whole process. But you had to sit out a year if you transferred, and I definitely was not about to do that, luckily.
Do you think under the current rules you might have transferred?
I hope not. I don't think I would have. But I could definitely see how it would be very easy, especially if teams are tampering with dudes and reaching out to their parents or agents or managers, whatever they have now, and they're like wanting you. So if say you're not playing somewhere, you're not getting much time, and you have other places that want you and are trying to bring you in, everybody wants to be wanted, right? It'd be tough, especially if they have cash as well. I'm not sure how these kids deal with it, but to be able to be level-headed and stay on the path and the track that you're on, it's tough now in college.
Did Tressel know you guys took a recruit to Columbus Gold?
They never.
Plausible deniability, I'm sure. He probably didn't want to know and just wanted us to be safe. But no, I doubt he knew. Honestly, I don't know I do wonder how much those coaches do know of what goes on out there.
I don't think, like you said, they never explicitly asked what you did. They just always asked, did you have a good time? Or did they have a good time? I'm like, all right, yeah, they had a blast with everything. And so you always try to kind of temper it like that. AJ, I'm going to try to figure out that kid's name. I've been looking through some Notre Dame. I thought that he would end up going to Notre Dame.
If he remembers it. I hope he remembers that. There's no way he remembers that recruiting visit. It was definitely during bowl practice, I remember, in the winter. And I remember we were out there in full pads practicing the next morning and seeing him shuffle into the Woody Hayes with his parents I remember we all just instantly looked over and talked to that dude. And you went and talked to him you could smell him from a mile and a half away.
Oh, yeah. It was beautiful.
Was it the only time you took a recruit there?
That was memorable because I think we had a feeling that he wasn't going to come, and he threw up in the place.
Right.
So, AJ said, we had some explaining to do and, talking around because he probably wasn't. I don't even know if he's 18 at that point. So, trying to figure that out. It's funny, AJ, I was telling that story about me, potentially wanting to transfer and those things. Do you remember, and I'm going to have to talk to Tress, I can't remember the guy's name. He made me read Sacred Hoops and then by Phil Jackson, and I had to have a book review with this guy and talk. It was one of his coaches who used to coach them, and I had to do that in the summer. And I'd have to leave your guys' place, walk out and to have a conversation. Do you remember that now? Basically,
yeah. Now that you bring it up, I do. I hadn't thought of it in a long time, but yeah, I do. It seemed like such a great Coach Tressel situation that you got yourself into. That's all I remember. Is how awesome. Oh, sorry guys, I gotta go. I gotta talk to this guy. now that you say it, I'm so glad you reminded me.
Oh, it was unbelievable. And I was explaining. I can't remember his name, but so I had to take notes and do all this stuff, and it was basically to kind of cure me from craziness. It was kind of go to this therapist, Bob. He's a former coach, and just talk to him. So,
is it hard to read in a strip club? Is that where you were doing the reading and taking notes?
There was no note taking going on in there.
Drawing pictures?
Yeah, maybe some Bob Ross landscape stuff, portraits. I don't know. Paige, we appreciate the time, dude. I'm sure you've got a lot of sports going on this weekend, so make sure you lather up that sunscreen because it's supposed to be a hot one.
Oh yeah, heat, humidity. I'll be lathering on the sunscreen all weekend. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good time and enjoy those 4 days and see what happens out there. I won't be listening to the police scanner to see if you get picked up for anything.
Thanks, AJ. We'll talk next week.
All right, see you guys.